Hey YouTube, it's Evan Magician 34. This is what I'm going to start doing hopefully every Sunday, which is what I call Ladies Night. It's where I do a female or girl themed Yu-Gi-Oh deck, because there are a lot of really cool themes that focus around a female card or cycle of cards. And Duelist Revolution is a perfect example of this, where they fleshed out the long-awaiting, it's fleshing out, Amazonas theme. So here is an Amazonas deck for all of you. I know quite a few people have been trying to build this for casual and whatnot, but I think that with a little bit of work you can make it competitive, at least competitive enough to take a local. So here we go. First off is one copy of Amazonas Queen. I do run just one on purpose. Basically, the summoning, the tribute is the main issue with it. Fairly obviously, it's a good effect, but it doesn't offer you too much, and this deck doesn't necessarily need the protection. It can be a very good beat stick and whatnot, but basically what it boils down to is, with work and examining it and just plain old experience, one queen is really all you need. If you hit it, great, and if not, it's never going to clog up in your hand and be multiple copies that end up causing you to lose. So, that's why one copy of queen. Alright, 3 copies of Amazonas Paladin. She's basically going to drop out as 1800 or more, and with Amazonas Village she'll be 2000 for starters. So, best beat stick in the deck, kills virtually everything that you're going to see on the other side. Next up, excellent card is Amazonas Trainee. The fact that she kills things and spins them to the bottom of the opponent's deck is just fantastic. She's a very good card all around, and doesn't hurt that she gets 200 points bigger every time she kills something. So she's hard to revenge kill, essentially. Another good 4-star beat stick. 3 copies of Amazonas Swordswoman. Another way to pile on damage. This deck is very combat oriented, but despite that actually has a certain burn element. She certainly helps that. You can summon her in the face of anything with little to no fear, and with Amazonas Village you can keep going through them if needs be. It's just a very solid card, and we're just looking for a lot of good 4-star beat sticks in this deck realistically, so she definitely does that. Chainmaster, she can definitely arrest your opponent's strategy very quickly. 1500 is really not that much to pay in this deck, actually, despite how small most of your monsters are. Stealing a monster out of your opponent's hand just stops them cold. Absolutely stops them cold. And of course you can use Village to go get multiple copies of them and strip your opponent's hand clean if you need to. Even if you end up paying 4,500 life points, which probably won't happen, but in the event that you were to do so, you would have ripped 3 cards out of your opponent's hand and almost surely lost them the game by doing so. So in the end, it's worth it. Obviously, you kind of have to judgment call it, but yeah, it is an optional effect, just in case. There is Amazonas Sage. Spells and traps are kind of your nemesis in this deck. A lot of people just run 1 of her, but 2 is good for me. They can bottomless her if you have the village out, obviously, but if they don't, then she can get out for free and maybe even pop the bottomless. She can force your opponent to make a lot of unpleasant decisions, and if she can last for any length of time, she could even steal multiple cards. She kind of functions like a Breaker or a Lila, but a little bit differently, and different in a good way for this deck, I think. 2 copies of Amazonas Tiger, basically just because it's a beat stick, plain and simple. Its protection of other Amazonases really isn't a very useful effect in this deck, it's just that it's a big beater, plain and simple. Amazonas Scouts, basically because you search for them and they can protect your Amazonases from destruction and targeting and whatnot, which is quite good. It's a great way to protect your other Amazonases from things like Bottomless and Torrential and whatnot. Really good, really solid card. And last in our 20 monster lineup is Giant Rat. Now I know a lot of people may be thinking, well, what about Warrior Lady of the Wasteland? Well, what about her? They both trigger off the same event, dying in combat and being sent to the grave, and this guy's got better stats. And the warrior status doesn't matter in the slightest for Warrior Lady. So, Giant Rat's pretty much the end for this. I mean, if you want to run Warrior Lady, especially because this is a quote-unquote girl-themed deck, I mean, you certainly can. But Giant Rat's technically a better card, and I think we've filled our girl quota for today. So, Giant Rat it is. Searches almost everything in the deck. This is a 41 card deck, but Rhoda pretty much takes it back down to 40 again. You can cut it. You can cut another card in this deck to bring it to 40, but 41 is just fine, largely because you have searching, a lot of searching in the deck. And this is probably the best piece of search. It gets almost every single card in the deck, every single monster, I should say, with 4 exceptions. So, really useful. Monster Reborn, the only way you could get a tuner in the deck, for example, but also a great way to swarm, etc., etc. Dark Hole, pretty much self-explanatory. MST times 2 because you need to destroy those back rows, and you can certainly set it as well, but activating on the main phase, I mean, however you play it, it's almost surely going to end up helping you. You want to make this a combat situation every turn if you can, and MST is your insurance policy for that. And speaking of insurance policies for making sure that things boil down to combat, Nobleman of Extermination. I do run him over Dusty, not just as the fact that it's spell speed 1, so you can do it a little faster than the trap, because obviously the trap you'd have to set it, but also the fact that you can hit multiple copies, so you can get rid of Icarus, Dimension Prison, all kinds of nasty stuff like that. Yes, you can hit Bottomless and theoretically remove your own Bottomlesses, but realistically, your opponent's hurt worse by losing Bottomless than you are by losing yours, so it's a very good third spell trap removal card in this deck. You could go Giant Tornado if you want, but I think that the Extermination is probably better in the long run. Okay, we also run 3 copies of Amazoness Village. The pump is nice, but it's really the fact that when your Amazonesses die, you can replace them, and that's die in combat or effects. So it's a fantastic card, a definite must for the deck. And remember, there's no Storm, so activating it and setting however many back rows is not really problematic for you. We also run 2 copies of Amazoness Fighting Spirit. It's like Skyscraper, only it's a continuous spell and not a field spell. So you can use it and the village simultaneously. It's how you're going to win a lot of your battles. And if your opponent MSTs it, your monsters still don't mind losing their battles for the most part either, because of village. So, excellent card. Alright, our 10 traps, Torrential Tribute, pretty obvious. Double Bottomless. Get rid of the things with the nastiest effects usually, but a staple in every deck. Should know how to play it by now. Okay, and like I say, this deck does have an interesting burn element, and you don't really see it until the end. We do run Ceasefire, because you're trying to score relatively quick kills here, and Ceasefire is pretty much the best burn card pound for pound that there is, when you boil it down. It's just that good. And you maintain field presence with Village, so you should have fairly decent numbers on the field, and you don't always kill your opponent's monsters, depending on the scenario, so you can easily hit for 2,000, 2,500 with this, and that's a good quarter or more of their life points. Also taking full advantage of our new ban list, 2 copies of Magic Cylinder. They can protect crucial Amazonesses when you need to, and of course they obviously also inflict a lot of damage. Turn your opponent's big giant stuff you can't kill in battle against them. We also run Amazoness Archers, great way to force out large fields, some of which may be in defense mode, to come after you. The 500 point decrease is usually enough for you to win against most monsters, so hopefully if you've got like 2 Amazonesses on the field, this will make sure that no more than 1 dies. And mostly, to be honest, we're running this because we also run the combo with Ojama Trio. You can easily take the vast majority, over 3/4 of your opponent's starting life points with this and the Amazoness Archers, with basically any Amazoness on the field in attack mode. But also keep in mind, if your opponent's running, say, X-Sabers and they're about to do some kind of crazy combo, this can, depending on the circumstances, cut them off, or at least hamper them. So played correctly, Ojama Trio can be an excellent card even without the assistance of Amazoness Archers. So, that's the main deck. The extra deck, because you only have 1 access to tuners, which is Monster Reborn, it's a toolbox. Scrap Dragon, Stardust Dragon, Red Dragon Archfiend, Colossal Fighter, Infernity Doom Dragon, Thought Ruler Archfiend. Remember that just because you don't really run any dark monsters, Infernity Doom, you're stealing the tuner, and it only needs a dark tuner, so you can run him. Alright, Thought Ruler, like I said. Black Rose Dragon, Scrap Archfiend, just for beating basically. Urbellum, Armor Master, once again you're stealing the tuner. Goya, Brinac, Naturia Beast, your deck's full of Earth. Magical Android, and last but not least, Ally of Justice Catastor. We don't run Chimera Tech Fortress, obviously, because we have no machines in our deck, pretty much, so the only way you could ever Chimera Tech is if they supplied you with all the materials, fairly unlikely to happen. So I thought it was better just to run the utility of different synchros. So there's the deck, and until next time, rate, comment, subscribe, and enjoy.